So, welcome to another episode of Houston's Hustle Hobbies. This is a show where I talk about all the ways that I make and save money because at the end of the day, hustling's my hobby. So, just to catch you up, I opened up a business called Zenith Transport with a Chrysler Pacifica hybrid a year ago. And what I do is last mile delivery apps to sort of fill in the gaps when there is no cameras to install, when there is no Uber or Lyft for that matter. So I'm gonna be really weird here. I'm gonna give you my top 4 gig apps for last mile delivery in ascending order. So the worst one is DoorDash. I've only been using DoorDash, the shortest out of the 4, for about 6 months or so. The things that I like about DoorDash is that it's fast money and it keeps you moving super quickly. But if you go on any YouTube short, you'll hear the complaints about $2.50 orders for 6 or 7 miles and the customer not giving a tip. I think if you have a gasoline car, it's a beat down on your car and a beat down on your starter more specifically. But the pros of it is, if you need some money quickly, you go to DoorDash and you'll make your money very quickly. And, might get some free food too. Not from stealing. But DoorDash offers lots of nice discounts on their app. If you are working for them, they give you free perks on food and stuff like that. It's one of those little known features that not too many people talk about. Number 3 is Roadie. So I was doing really good with Roadie until they cut me off for a really stupid reason. I missed the delivery by one address, and the delivery people, they wouldn't let me get the order back, and then I was just off the app. It was so stupid. But anyway, the drawbacks with Roadie are the dollar per mile ratio, that is the miles you drive per dollar, sits around just over or just under $1 at times. So you might see a goofy order. Most of the orders you get there from Home Depot, you might see a goofy order for 13 miles for $14.50 or something like that for a delivery, a small delivery. You can make about $200 to $250 in a day with Roadie. The same that you can do with DoorDash, but you're going to be piping, boy. You're going to be working real hard. The only perk that I see with Roadie, the Roadie Driver app, is that it's a connecting app. What I mean by that is, you might be able to find yourself a Roadie on the way to your house or on the way to another hotspot where you can get some better orders, or even, Lyft or Uber or whatever you're doing, that's your mainstay. There are little to no tips, but the only perk that I can tell you about Roadie is if you have a van or a cargo van, you can apply for the huge orders, and they usually pay something more like $2 to $3 a mile. So for a 15-mile run, you might get $50 or something like that. Now, for my number 2 app, Dispatch. Now, if I'm quite honest, Dispatch would be my number 1 app if they had more orders on their app. Now, Dispatch is an app that you have to go through a background check that you have to pay $40 for. Dispatch is also a much better served app if you have a pickup truck or a cargo van. That way you're getting solar panels and you're driving them, 30 miles for $150. But if you have an SUV or a minivan, in my case, you do get some really good apps that pay roughly $2 to $250 and $2.50 per mile. They also pay you bonus time for waiting, and layout and customer service wise is also one of the best apps on the gig app platform, in my opinion, in terms of the way the app is formatted. And now for my number 1 app. I don't know if you can see this, but Point Pickup. Point Pickup is my number 1 app. Now, Point Pickup is not as good as Dispatch in terms of pay per mile, but is really close. The tips are inconsistent at best, not as good as an app like Lyft or something like that. But the reason why Point Pickup has actually climbed from number 4 to number 1 in my top apps is because of localization and deliveries. And let me explain. Again, in The Art of War, the book I love to read, they talk about the further you go away from your home or your castle or your kingdom, the more it'll cost you. You can apply this to gas or the wear and tear on your car driving these apps. The further you go away, the more at risk you are and the more it's going to cost. Like, say if you're 40 miles from your house doing Lyft and you get a flat tire, you're screwed. That tow truck bill is going to be over $300 if you don't have coverage, of course. But last mile delivery, even though it's dangerous, it's a rising industry and it's grenading. It is huge. There are so many delivery apps. And the reason why Point Pickup is number 1 for me is because Point Pickup is both a shopper and a driver app. That's number one. If you live near a power center, a place like a Walmart, AutoZone, any supermarket, Acme, ShopRite, within 10 miles, you're going to be in the money with Point Pickup. You can actually do grocery deliveries or large parcel deliveries, and all of these deliveries are within a 10 to 15 mile radius of your house, and they all pay between, the grocery apps pay about $10, and the bigger parcel deliveries start at around $20, and they make their way up to about $30 to $35, depending on what it is. You're moving stuff like TVs, yard furniture, air conditioners, things like that. It's a real small company, so customer service is right there. You're talking to a live person through the text messages and their chat, and if they call you, sometimes they actually call you specifically for orders. That's a very little known truth about Point Pickup. And if you play your cards right, you're easily going to get about $200 to $300 a day, only having driven about 100 to 150 miles. So that's my review on the top 4 gig apps. And again, those apps are DoorDash at number 4, Roadie at number 3, Dispatch at number 2, and Point Pickup at number 1. If you have any questions on any of these apps, anything that I can answer, please let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for listening to me, guys. There's a bunch of guys you can listen to that talk about this stuff, and I give you a lot of very high level stuff, but I do answer all of my comments in the comment section. So please feel free to hit me up there. And yeah, thanks for listening to me. And as always, live high, live mighty, live righteously. Take it easy.